Oh, hello. Guten Abend. Guten Abend, meine Freunde. Unfortunately, uh, I'm running this now through directly through OBS. I hope my audio is fine on YouTube. I'll see it in the chat over here. So I'm just going to put a seed chat here. Uh, hey, this is interactive. ASCII. Yeah. So yeah, what I'm going to do is first off, I'm going to show you what I'm doing. Um, Essentially, I have to go through each of our separate terrains, apply the new GTS thing. We lost a little bit of the terrain texture in our conversion, but I knew I was going to have to do a really intense review of the roads in the backcountry, just as thorough as the one that I did on all the colliders and all the stuff downtown. And this this means that we're going to have to, I'm going to have to do that work. Thankfully, really, as far as part of the map, it's only about really, I'd say, seriously, about less than 5% of the map. But what it's going to take a while to fix because it's sort of like detail work. And pardon the lights, but it's been kind of hot here in Portland as of late. And well, actually, it's gotten cool to the point that I think I can actually. Hold on. There we go. Get some better lighting. All right. There we are. I look a little bit better here. So, a little bit better. Anyway, so what I'm doing right now is I'm just going through and I'm applying the new GTS profile and making sure it's working in all of them, and then I got to go through all these again and remove both of those because really it's gotten to the point that just those two systems were a pain in the butt. So um, we moved the project so far beyond this. 90% of the terrain was like hand painted now, so we don't even need those systems. But they were so unfortunately so involved that it was hard to pull them out. And this is the best process that I found after about 4 days of experimentation. Because again, terrain is very important. If I don't need to explain why. So anyway, what we're going to do here is we are going to go. Just again, we are going through all these sectors one by one and we're just converting the terrains. And I'm going to put a little bit of music in the background. It's always weird, but I don't seem to get much in the way of viewers until about an hour into the broadcast. I mean, no matter when I start the stream, people don't really start tuning in until about an hour after 60-minute mark. People are just like, oh, that looks interesting. So I don't know. Let's see. I'm going to just put on YouTube so I can put some music on our purposes. Let's see. Goodness. My mix. There we go. And, actually, oh, it's going through my speakers and not my headphones. Give me one moment to hook these up. I think, though, I really hate to even just contemplate this, but I think that the Bluetooth connector in my headphones may be going bad because it's constantly breaking out, even though, the Bluetooth broadcaster from my PC is literally only a couple of feet away. So that's just not good. Here's hoping it's just not that, actually. And so, yeah. Oh, and by the way, for those who are wondering why I name my headphones, if you want to zoom into that and if it's coming across, you can. That name is because if anybody's a real big fan of Preacher, the comic book series, Garth Ennis, Dylan, they're named after a magazine that always showed up in the narrative. I'm not going to repeat it, and I use that name because I know everybody in the who walks in the neighborhood is going to be able to see my device, and I just want to put something outrageous there to mess with their heads. So, but anyway, and by the way, the music that I'm playing in the background is apropos because I wanted to talk about something that I discovered. Uh, as those who've been tuning into, things, we've been trying to find licensed music from some people, some very particular bands, because we're very, very choosy in the mood that we want to impart. And recently, something came up that explained a few things. Now, before I have to go into my Twitter and I have to show the few viewers, the one or two viewers that we have right now, what's going on. But as it is, what I'm going to have to do now is go into Veg 29, and I could explain this while it's loading that scene. And by the way, we're at 911.0. That's going to be a very easy one to remember. 911.0. So yeah, let's go over there. But I want to show you here something that happened because I would. This is something that never occurred to me that might happen. There, I tweeted about a week ago, to the band Covenant, the Swedish band. Hey, would you be interested in letting us, license PC or music? And we got a response, actually, and that was like really cool. But there was, and they said, please get in contact with us via email. And what they respond, and I said, hello, thank you very much. We're very cool. I think a lot of the themes in your music, blah, 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 compliments, etc. The business stuff, the schmoozing you got to do when you're dealing with somebody that's new to the project. And their response was just very odd. Because they were like, okay, how much do you usually pay? And by the way, we only accept PayPal. And I was like, okay, Covenant, this band from Sweden, isn't the hugest band in the world. They're not exactly VNV Nation, if you know what I'm talking about. But they performed Mera Luna. They've had their own Gothic classic, crossover concert at the Gewandhaus Leipzig. And I was like, so this band is just like, oh, how much do you usually charge? These guys are performing in front of crowds of like several 100,000 people at Mera Luna. They don't come to something like this without a knowledge. I mean, unless they're incredibly naive. And so I looked at it a little bit closer. And we're going to pick up this thread of this story when I get to the other end here, because we got to find out where we were on exteriors. Okay. 10, 7, no, and 10 just goes for 3. 10, 7, 8, and 9. Yeah. So, so what we discovered, after getting that email from supposedly Covenant, I looked at the people who had responded, and now understand what I discovered was, let's see. See, there's Covenant Sweden, and I'm going to make this really big so that you guys can see. You see, there's Covenant Sweden. That is the band that I contacted initially. Now, I found out that these people who responded, supposedly have a completely different one called Covenant Sweden. Oh, they disappeared. Essentially, what we found out is there was a secondary, a site made that was looked exactly like this website, down to everything except there was a slight misspelling in the at. And I did not know that there was something. And by the way, this stupid X rebranding is, again, I mean, everything that Charlie, Penguin Zero said, Twitter already had the best, branding. I mean, Twitter, everybody, no, now it's going to be, oh, what do I do? Do I X you? God dang, Elon Musk is a freaking idiot. Anyway, that was interesting to learn. And I think what happens is, um, there are people, in the usual scammy countries and places, because there are scammers everywhere. These guys that literally create look-alike Twitter accounts for musical groups. And they are just like, oh, they probably have about 10 accounts going at a time, and they try, and they basically look out for things like this, and they hoodwink people. And this was interesting to me because, understand, I mean, something happened. I now realize something very similar happened about 4 years ago. I reached out to VNV Nation, the band, and I asked, hey, do you think we could use your music in our game about cats? And they responded, positively. And they said, yeah, please contact us via this email address. And now I realize probably that email address was like one letter off of what their official email, but I didn't even freaking care. Because I was like, oh, yeah, they reached back to me, my favorite band, blah, blah, blah. And I did not think and look closely enough. And I did not know that this weird sort of scam was going on. Because imagine if I had just not looked into that and Googled, just done a little bit of research, they would have said, oh, yeah, we're willing to let you go for a couple $100, whatever, or they would have just walked away. Or if we had been, very honorable business people, which we try to be, we would have been, oh, we would have liked to pay industry standard, which would have been seriously several $1,000s. They would have walked away with the money, and we would use the music, and then Covenant Sweden sues us and goes, hey, guys, and that it was just bizarre to see that occur. I mean, I had no idea. Goes to figure. Anyway, but that was that was just an odd. Copy that name. Okay, save scene as. I could copy. Oh, nope. Oh well. Let's see. But anyway, yeah, I got to get back to this. Well, let's explain that weird scam because I had no idea. Again, you live, you learn, and again, every time I encounter one of these scams, I feel like I owe the the one or two viewers who watch these things to actually hopefully we can help them avoid the same scams when these things come along. But again, I mean, it's like go with your gut. If something seems wrong, I mean, to a great extent, I hate to say, you have to just go, something seems wonky about this. Yeah, these guys who perform in front of 100,000, whatever, they want us to pay via PayPal. And they're like, oh, we don't absolutely have we're open to whatever you're willing to give us. No. Ooh. Yeah, I could go over to YouTube and see how absolutely few people are watching. I think probably. Actually, I don't. I don't even have the broadcast window up because it goes right through OBS now. So, you know what I would like to do really quick? I would like to verify that my work is actually on all those sectors. Considering I'm over halfway done, I'm just going to do something really quick, guys and gals. Actually, no, we can actually see within the game. We can just run the scene. Actually, I can go to YouTube right now. Because I can see, yeah. I don't want to even look at it. I see it at the top of my thing. Here. But anyway, geez, maybe I should have, RimWorld playing in the background while we do this. We'll see. Because actually it does have to go through a rather exhaustive process. Because if this terrain stuff is taken care of, I can walk away from this for a couple of days before I start repainting it. Because I really want to get the Enviro working again. I want to get the fog working and the depth of field working properly again. Get the God Rays working. You know what I'm saying? Make the game look good again. Well, that's how it was. Again, that process sort of had, unfortunately, it took a hit because whenever you're, I mean, most of the work that's involved in converting the project to URP is, visual and work and manner and style and content. Cheese and bread, by the way. I'm going to step away for a moment, okay, guys? Be right back. Okay, let's rewind. Sorry, guys and gals. Okay, I have a feeling no one's watching anyway. Sorry. Um, Sorry about that. I've been here now about 5 minutes talking. Okay. The problem that we had when I came back, the terrains are still not showing up with the proper shaders. Um, And that is bizarre because what we've been doing is I have been going through those individual scenes and calling those scenes up and implementing a new shader, a new system for each one of them on an individual basis. Those surfaces are baked by a completely different thing than it's not related to sector. It's referring to these exact terrain. So it's just kind of a what? I'm going to see. I have one last suspicion. Oh goodness, is project setting still set at like ultra high? It can't be. If so, we're going to be stuck here forever. Oh. There we are. Unless we're stuck in another way, and I would not put it beyond them. So quality? Nope, we're very low. Okay, good. All right, so what we're going to do, the cat first materializes over here in the test scene by the mayor's house. And if this solution doesn't work, you know what? I'm just going to assume that maybe my shower, I'm going to have get that proverbial shower thought within the next 48 hours of a possible solution. I swear to God, there's no reason why this should not be working. But we're going to just take a look at the source scene there. All right. Scene path. See the sector chunk. Don't need to save anything. Well, looky there, boys and girls. Huh. Okay. Now you see, the profile was still in memory. It stuck it right there. So, what I'm going to do now is again remove both of these guys. So, and by the way, you can see we still have a few objects that are lacking proper, URP textures. If this solution doesn't work, I'm just going to go back to work fixing those. Because, again, I've been banging my head up against this for a few days. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And you just have to go, hey, you did your best, and hopefully it'll come back to you. Okay, so. Okay. So we're going to go into our main scene again. Open the guy up. In fact, what I'm going to do, just to make absolutely sure, I'm going to close Unity, reopen it, and then we're going to run it to make absolutely sure that everything loads fresh. So, let's see. What can we talk about? We're just dealing with this again. Okay. Well, no, I'm just gonna let it run. It saved that scene. That scene is loaded dynamically externally. There is no reason. And this is another one that's going to take it a couple of minutes to get going. I'll be right back. Sorry, because I got to get myself more cheese to go with my bread. All I got is bread here. You expect me to do a stream with just bread? I got to have some cheese. And this time I stream. I will, I swear, I will not have the sound issue when I come back. Be right back. Bye. Alrighty. Alrighty then. Alrighty then, you can hear me. I got my Swiss cheese. Well, I don't think he's even made it Swiss. It's probably made in New York or something. But it's pretty good. I cannot afford. Emmentaler. Once in a blue moon, if I get a gift from the, my parents, like, yeah, I'm gonna just get myself some real stuff. Yeah, I'm sort of I am a foodie. I have to say. What happened is many moons ago. Yet we're still. Well, no, hold on. It still may come in. Mm-hmm. Okay, it came in, but the terrain texture is all uniformly black. Okay. What we're going to do now. What is the best solution? But actually, if you turn around and look. What really annoys me is let's go back to that scene. Let's just take a look at that scene again and see what happened here. Yeah, now it seems to have lost most of the data that was attached to it, along with those things. So, since everything is screwed, what you do is you go to the next step, because we're going to have to do a revert, essentially. There's no way around this. We're going to have to do a revert of, what we do, 29. I've done this about a dozen times. We do a revert, and then I start going and fix textures. That's what I do. Yeah, it's doing its thing. I'm very sorry. I was just checking my Discord here, seeing what's going on. Not much. It looks like some people at Procedural Worlds got in touch. But anyway, since no one is talking, I'm just wondering what the heck is going on. We're going to open up Veg Studio 29 and take a closer look. All right. Okay. I'm going to take a look at the source scene for this guy right here. Because that's the next sector over when the cat lands, and we just take a look at that. There's got to be some solution, because this was working yesterday. And it also looks like we have a few duplicates in here that shouldn't even be there. So again, it lost that texture, but look, apply profile, zip, it's there. So, Let's disconnect the profile if we can. Or, let's see here. What we do, so we see here, okay. So we fully understand what we're dealing with here. We're going to load the scene again, and we're going to save it before we, save. And see when the scene reloads, it's still lost its texture data. That is still, this was not happening yesterday. Dawn. Let's just see here. Maybe it's because it's missing the base map. Okay. And let's just take a look at our profile here. You see, it's applied in the active scenes. Okay, so somehow GTS may not be active in the main scene. Let's just take a look at that. I mean, we could see here, because everybody, I mean, the 1 or 2 viewers or 0 viewers that we have, could see here that we have it working. Let's just go straight on in. Oh, look there. That is not texture. That is not grass. That has the color. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove that. There we go. You see, now we're fine. So what do we do now? Well, I guess, so let me just try this experiment. What we're going to do is we're just going to get rid of GTS entirely. And now we're going to reload this scene. And see, we're saving it. Boom, we lost it again. And I know if I tell the, CTS seems to just be sitting up here for no reason whatsoever. I mean, when you try and disconnect the profile, it's still stuck there. I mean, you can go 0. Well, hold on for a moment. Let's just see if I go with 0, none. Well, there you go. Look at that. No more black. Okay, hold on for a moment. We may have... But look how chunky it is, though. Let's see, add component. Just for poops and giggles, let's add this again here, okay? Because, I mean, just as part of this experiment, so we know what we're dealing with. See here, before, when we went in really close over here, for example, it was just brown. Now we have green grass. So we know that CTS is not, I mean, really, when we got rid of that and just pointed toward nothing, this guy's going to get rid of CTS entirely. Okay. I'm going to apply the profile here. Okay, yeah. But you see, as opposed to before, okay, when I zoomed in before here, when we brought in that base color map, it used this. We just had brown, and now we have at least a good grass texture again. And by the way, you see this little thing right here? This is why I really want to go over the terrain inch by inch, because you see we have a little bit of the ocean like sand seeing through here that shouldn't be there. So again, I do not fear duty calls. Okay, so we're gonna get rid of CTS. I'm gonna save. And we're gonna open this guy up again. Hey! We kept our terrain this time. Okay, but the proof is in the pudding, ladies and germs. Is now we have to go into the main scene and start it. And if the cat lands right over here, and we see land over here, we have come upon our solution. And we have to use this as our model here, which is 660. And I really want to get rid of this duplicate too while we're at it, because come on, these scenes are huge. All right. So we're going to go back into our main. I think that was one of those mistakes left there by, Mike B. And if not, again, we're going to pull a revert. And we just go after the remaining textures in the game world that don't appear properly, like those the gates over by the plant, the not the plant, what is it? The Brian O'Connell solid waste facility. So no chats, no viewers, but I'm used to that. No one. It's okay. It's going to take another minute or two to get this together. I'm going to go freshen my beverage. I will be right back. Get yourself some delicious cheese and bread while I'm away. Oh. Hello, Blue Meme Cat. Hello. We're just doing left to the left to the left. Check that baby out, baby. We got terrain. Yeah, it's got the painting issues going with it, but we got our terrain back. It looks like the color needs to be adjusted again, but we got our terrain back. Yeah. This is awesome. Again, this doesn't look very like high res, but we're running it at the lowest, visual quality at the time being. So wow, that's our solution. Fantastic. Okay. So what we do, it looks like in that 660, we're gonna have to take a look at that scene again. I want to take a screenshot, take it over to Photoshop, so I have a record of exactly how this thing's supposed to be. Woo, yeah, blue. Let me tell you, I have been battling these two systems for about 4 days now, and this is, yeah, a woo moment for me. Let me tell you. The only thing is we got to go through about again, how many? Let me see. Exterior. How many of these? We got to go through every one of these sectors here, and apply that solution. But I'm going to go back to 660, and we are going to just take a look at that. And again, take I always take Photoshop screenshots of bug fixes because trust me, you're going to forget it. And I noticed that guy over on our Discord, that's like the head of procedural worlds, who's like, what is? Oh, I didn't want to save this. W, no. Okay. Let's see. Open. Well, that's ready for the paste one. That's okay. Cool. All right. So we grab our terrain. And see here what we have. We have no color map assigned. We just have a profile. And we apply that sucker and get rid of the one up above, and it seems we're good. The thing is sometimes you have to like fool a computer program into doing exactly what you need. So there may be a process of me having to just go, boobity-boop. That's a technical term, boobity-doop. For something that's too long for me to explain in this context, so sorry. But we seem to have it good, and again, we want to get that process, the boobity-doop, down on our magic dude. Why do I have my inspector open so wide that it requires that much space? That's cray. That'd be cray, yeah. There we go. Okay. So, but yeah, the guy, like I said, the guy on Discord, he's messaged me 3 times, and I think it is because, again, what happened was the people, basically, Proc Worlds had an argument with the guy who created CTS. CTS is a system that we've been using to color our terrain because it allowed for the efficient processing of like up to 16 textures. Terrain textures. Usually Unity is restricted to 8. There was an argument between the people at Procedural Worlds and the guy who made that technology, and as a result, for the last, I've been going to them time and again saying, is there any way to bring the data from CTS over? And they said, nope, there is no way. Very sorry to say that. And I said, well, today I discovered a way, as you can see. And I think that he's like probably going, could you tell us how to do that? Or maybe it's like, we're going to get sued if you need to take that down. I don't know. But as you can see here, there are black spots in the paint, in the terrain. But I really, again, do not give much of a fluke because the downtown sector, it has roads. And the rest of the world, it's going to be a lot of trim work. It's going to be a lot of work, no matter what. Probably about a week's worth of work. But I don't mind. I mean, again, you can't be like afraid of like redoing your work if you're in game dev. That just comes with the territory. So, what we want to do now is we want to go to our exterior and just start all the way through, the litany of all these terrains one by one. And starting with this one, 560, and then going to 650. All right. Okay, let's see here. So what we did there is we applied the profile down here, boom, in memory. Got rid of CTS. And I wonder what happens if you remove profile. Okay, apply profile. Okay, good. So, let's save that sucker and reopen it and make sure. Oh, no, look at there. That's odd. Well, I am hoping this is not something that we're going to see often, and this is not. We're going to go into the main scene once I fix another one of these terrains, and have the cat plop down over here so we can make sure that this is not, that weird tinfoil texture we saw. There we go. Let's see here. So what we're going to do is apply the profile. Disconnect the profile, and then remove it. Ah, there, you see it didn't turn into, but let's save it and open it up again. You know what? I think this is what we're going to see in the main world again. This is the same sort. Oh God, I thought this was a solution. We saw the grass over there because look at this. See? It's fine, the grass. Huh. Let's open up the scene again. Yeah, we just did. Select that. Open up the scene again. Huh. Okay. I'm just going to figure that that's maybe some sort of weird artifacting that's going on. But what I'm going to do is, again, we're going to start the game again, and we're going to plop the kitty cat right around here. And we're going to see if, if we just see no texture at all over here, or if this fix works. It would be cool if we did. Oh, thank you, Blue Meme Cat. I appreciate that. Yeah. The thing is, we are going, if I can, excuse me. If you're not aware of what we're going through, and I've probably explained it before, Blue Meme, is that I personally have been wanting to bring the project up to Universal Render Pipeline for well over a year now. Because what we have been using, which is, the standard render pipeline, that's something that Unity has that is compatible. I mean, it can make everything from Candy Crush to games like this. It's sort of like a jack of all trades, but the problem is it is not ideal for this kind of game. Universal Render Package is, but the problem is that in the conversion, I've had to reconstruct from the ground up a hell of a lot of our, graphic systems and such, and get them working within the new system. And it's sort of a pain because, let me tell you, I mean, next time we have a loading scene, I'll show you how the game used to look. And it's like, right now, it's like so clunky, it's so blurry and not looking good. It's because, well, half the stuff is still in the process of getting fixed. So let's get this, let's see. We're going to grab our kitty spawner. Make sure we're in ISO too, because I don't want to stick them all the way over here. But I was talking about being a foodie earlier, and I want to touch on this again because this game has been under development for a very long time, and one of the, unfortunately, Anthony Bourdain, he's a TV chef, and it's sort of weird. I had a roommate back in New Jersey, and he was a little bit into cooking. And back at that time, I was like, man, food, I'll eat just like clam chowder every day out of a can. And as long as it, keeps my body going. But he taught me just like the importance of cooking a little bit, of just being able to cook. It is and he taught me, yes, it can be fun. I really got into Anthony Bourdain before I moved from New Jersey up here to Maine. And his passing away was, and in retrospect, anybody who watched a lot of Anthony Bourdain and read his books, there was a hint of this, of what was coming with him. But long story short, we named this road back here Rue Bourdain in his honor. Because really, I mean, he raised so many important points. Everybody should be able to make a salad. Everybody should be able to know. I mean, if you're a meat eater, you should know how to make a burger. You should know how to roast a chicken. If you're a vegetarian, you should know a certain number of things. You should know the basic things like butter, wine, garlic, shallots, and stuff. I mean, just these basic few things, and it enhances things so much. in your life if if you just know how to cook. Yeah, we got our texture going, by the way. We got our texture. It's a little bit, I mean, everything's blurry right now because of the Beautify filter. But that's supposed to be that's a depth of field filter. I should change that. But hey, congrats to me and hooray, we have the ground texture back again. But I know that a lot of textures. Look, for example, all of these plants, you see they have this weird sort of like white sheen on them. All of these plants, that's what I need. That's another job that I have after I take care of the terrain. And all the most like egregious examples of like purple terrain, textures. Let's just go up this way and I could show you. And by the way, performance inside of the editor is always really choppy. So this is the way it's supposed to run. All the flickering and weirdness. Again, so many visual effects. But, oh, yep. That's terrain that was not done properly. And we're going to come back and take care of that. But yeah, you see here, all the white textures on these things as well. They're missing textures and such. And now that I got a fix on the terrain, I would rather go and work on that for a while because I'm in my brain. I got a screenshot of what works. My brain is taking a big heaving sigh of relief. I would really like to start going through and just like fixing a lot of these crappy, non-responsive textures. Because that annoys me still. And let's see. Actually, what I'm going to do really quick, we're going to run that again without the blurriness, just so I can make sure. Okay. Yeah, we're going to go into our... Oh, no, it's in the... Oh! What's this? Oh, no, it's in our systems. Yeah, beautiful. I forget. This system, there's literally a system. For you indie game devs who want to make a game that looks beautiful, there is literally a plug-in solution that literally makes things look beautiful, and it's called Beautify. And I think really, yes, you could spend several months, coding something like that from scratch. But if you have the funds, really, and if you're crowdfunded like us, it is so much far more efficient for us to just pay $65, to get something. And trust me, it does that. But what I want to do right now is I'm going to turn off our, where's our depth of field here? Vignette, I want to keep that. Focus. Fixed distance? Autofocus it should be. Weird. Just bizarre. And is not depth field handled within Beautify anymore? I thought that was our depth of field. Huh. Oh, depth of field. There we go. Autofocus. Yeah, I think that was our problem. We just had it like just constantly, blurry-eyed. And focal length 05 app. That's I know so little about that sort of camera stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust that in play mode while we're here. So just bear with me. I just want to get this done. Because every time I start the game, it's blurry. And it feels like I'm not wearing my glasses. And considering I've lost my glasses for several days at a time, Yeah, Blue Meme. Yeah, I understand Blue Meme. And I have not streamed on Twitch in a very long time. And we actually have fans over in Europe, including one up in Norway. And they literally, when it's 4 p.m. here, I think it's either 9 or 10 p.m. there. So, we have a lot of support in Europe. Trust me. Let me show you. These are all postcard premiums going to European supporters within the next week. We are out of postage funds, but we basically budget so much for postage funds every month, and it's $250 currently. And Trust me, we sent out about 400 postcard sets over the last month, but there are some that just can't go out. And unfortunately, because we have bills to pay and people to pay, we can't. Like, I mean, trust me, I put a lot on these things to keep the project going back a few months ago, and I'm going to be paying for that for a long time. But I am not. So okay, see now everything is much more sharp. And what we're going to do now is we're going to adjust. The only problem is the problem with just adjusting the depth of field is that everything, all the textures are so awful. Everything was just so bad right now. And let me see. I think this is off to the right is the path that leads over to, yeah, the old immigrant cemetery over by the Laflamme Fish Works, correct? Yeah, there we are. Yeah, you can see the terrain over here has not been converted yet, and as a result is not there. It's just blue, gluey, blueson. So yeah, but I'm gonna go through there. I'm gonna fix those in days to come. But let me see if I can go into the depth of field and just see if I can do something with it. Let me see. Yeah, beautiful. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Focal length. Bring in the focal length. Yeah. Oh, no, no, no. Do I still have foreground blur? There should be no foreground blur. Okay, let's see if the oh, the aperture really screws with things. Let's see. And focus speed. I want that really fast, actually. Hopefully that doesn't make... Hold on. Classic, real. Does that give me the ability to f... Oh, goodness. Focal length and f-stop, baby. Stuff that I should have remembered from my, my college photography course. You know what I'm saying? Because I do want things that, like, when they're close to the cat, but I would like a bigger... let's see. Yeah, bring the blur all the way down. Let's just see, continue. Now the kitty's blurry. I think it's because the focal distance set by the camera. We got some... I'm going to set... I'm cool with it. And I think these flickers here are artifacts of a Firefly set. And the festival lights over here. You see, most of the trees aren't even showing up. You shouldn't be able to see these. I need to make that so the cat immediately goes over that. There are a lot of navigational issues that I have not addressed, but I'm trying to do. But yeah, you see this part of the island does not have much. The textures have not been converted. Yeah, that's weird how how foggy that is, just like so. But yeah, after I get the terrain fixed, I need to get the EnviroSky working, and then I get the depth of field working. And right now, I'm just looking at these buildings. Their textures aren't working at all within a URP. I think I need to download that asset again. And it probably comes with the URP software. And yes, that is something. Can I just say, at the very beginning of this project, I did get some architectural prefabs that were like really cheap, and they're still in there. And that, this factory over here and the outbuildings are sort of like that. But now we're going to go to Veg 29, and what we're going to do is we're going to try and fix about 10 textures. And we will have this solved. Oh my God, 2:38. Do you work at night, Blue Meme? That's really late. I mean, I used to stay up until 2:30 all the time, but I don't know. Something flips when you turn 50. I think you're just I can't do it like the young kids anymore. You know. I mean, I remember, man, even in my 40s. No, in my 30s. I literally. I mean, when I got what was it? What was the one? Morrowind? Not Morrowind. Oh God, what was it? Oblivion. The first night I got that, I remember I stayed up all freaking night. I remember seeing the light coming up. over the dawn arriving. I was like, oh, I gotta get to bed. Damn it. You know, one of my cats were sitting right there in their bed, you know. Anyway, kitty cats. Yeah, both the cats from those days are unfortunately passed away. Boy lived to be 16, and girl passed away at the age of about 10. And yeah, I named them boy and girl. Uh, I don't know why. It just seemed to be the good names, and they always knew who I was talking to. I could call them. Okay. I do not like the bloom on this terrain. This is just ugly as sin, and just really blares into your eyes. I can't. Is there a way of turning off the effects? Yeah, even if I turn it all off, maybe if I turn on lighting, it'll make it less obnoxious. We'll see. You see, it's hard to see anything in here, what's textured properly, because the background blares out everything, the new textures. Okay, here's what we're going to have to do, boys and girls. We're going to have to do stupid, pointless, stuff to make sure that what we're doing is keeping again. And I think what's going to have to happen is I'm going to have to go through and fix all those textures before I can go. And I'm going to have to do it anyway. It's just, or hell, it just hit me. I could turn off the terrains. I could just turn off the terrains. Duh. Sometimes I just feel so stupid. Ach, Himmel. I'm sorry, we gotta go back to that scene and turn off the terrain so I can just work. Sorry. And of course, that takes about 10 minutes to load again. So, hey, kids. So, believe me, you didn't have to tell. You're probably just. Let me tell you, I have insomnia sometimes. I wish the times that I had insomnia, I could just get up and do other stuff until I felt tired enough again. But it's the way I am. I just like, I know I gotta try. I gotta keep trying, And before I know it, 13 hours have passed. And I'm just sitting there, just aching. Because, and yes, sometimes 13 hours. Because after 8 hours, I'm like, no, I'm not giving up. I'm going to have 15 minutes of sleep. I just want 15 minutes. And I just can't get it through my head. Eric, just get up and deal with it. Just fill yourself up with caffeine, sugar, and get your butt going. Because time, What, time and fate? Wait, what was it? Time and something, wait for no one? Anyway. No. Well, I'm very glad you're hanging with me during this very just like pedantic work, but yeah. And I don't like how even though we have bloom turned off, we're still seeing it in the scene window. I mean, the background should not be, washing everything out to the extent that it is. Unity sometimes just does not act properly. So what we're gonna do here is go to terrain. And by the way, I do not blame you if you're like it's 3 a.m. it's 2:40. I gotta go to bed. I don't expect anybody to hang around for this really just dull work. I wish and I mean, the nights that I have insomnia, and I'm going to turn off the ocean too because it's distracting as well. We just want the stuff. There we go. And it also looks like the ocean is like slowing down performance as well. Just having to see that. So let me just turn that off. Earthnen. One of the problems, I think this thing doesn't tell me how many minutes I've been streaming. Does it? Let's see. Oh, 1 hour and 4 minutes. Usually I do this for about an hour, so, let me fix this one texture and also get rid of the market down here for the time being. Laura is redoing the market, and let me show you. The island market is And again, look at that bloom we're seeing here. The bloom, by the way, if you're not aware of visual effects, it's how you see there's a glow around any white, and there's actually a little bit of a pink nimbus there around the magenta. So that's what I'm talking about. But the island market, um, it's 7 times as many things as it needs to be. And we're currently in the process of just toning it down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut that off as well, because this is my workbench. See, you can see all the stuff that's in this market. It's ridiculous. But the reason that we did that, by the way, it was for a legitimate reason. We wanted to totally stress test this. We wanted to create an interior that would have the maximum of everything. And, if people wanted to go in there and experience what catastrophic system failure feels like. I mean, even my computer with like the best, graphics cards and 64 gigabytes of RAM and so much in my computer couldn't, it could just barely deal with it. So no shame. I'm not shaming anybody's computer. Okay, so you see, hold on. Let's see here. It says that it's already got universal on all of these. Oh no! I know what those are. Right? They are not, it's not set to transparent. You see what I'm saying? So what we want to do is go into, let's see. Nope. Well, no, they seem fine. So what we want to do is go to the other one and turn it transparent. And I'm like that it's a matter of the material. So it's going to be quick and easy, lemon squeezy. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Trailer Park Boys, and by the way, can I just say, the Trailer Park Boys should have ended when the actor who played Mr. Leahy passed away. They're just unfortunately flogging a dead horse at this level. And you see why I said it's great that it's a material issue rather than like a geometric, because you see, as soon as I changed that one texture on this, all of them changed across. But some of these still have like some textures that need to be, just sorted. Need to get salted. Let's get things salted. We don't have that phrase in the United States. I wish we did. Let's get this sorted. It's a great phrase. And let's see. Go down. I'm going to make them all transparent. So, oh, look at that. We still have, because that is LOD1. I forget, we're dealing with 2 LODs here. And if you don't know what LOD is, I'm happy to explain it. LOD is its level of detail. And that's something that game developers use so that things that are far away from the camera have a lower level of geometrical and textural detail. So that things that are far in the distance that you wouldn't see, it automatically compensates for that. So, that way you're able to show more stuff in the distance. With less system drag. So there we go, baby. Except look at these. Some of these things look a little bit wonky. I'm gonna have to check those out later. Yeah, okay. So I don't expect anybody to hang out. I'm gonna hang out for another 9 minutes, and then I have to feed the kitty cats. After that, I may go bye-bye unless somebody comes all of a sudden. Wedding Sunday. Oh, messed up my sleep. That is one of the fantastic things I say about Europe and England and all those places. You guys, I mean, here in the United States, I can travel 700 miles or 1,200 miles in one direction, and I'm going to find the exact same thing. Everybody speaking the same language, except But let me tell you, in Europe, you go 700 miles, and you're going to pass through 3 different countries, sometimes 5. And I just find that so awesome that you go to a place and it's like, ooh, I know there's monoculture and there's a lot of stuff that's the same across, a lot of cultures. Everybody has a McDonald's and everybody has this and everybody blah, blah, blah. but it's still you have different languages and different customs and such. But I mean, when you look at Texas, super. I mean, Texas. Ugh, anyway, the United States. I won't. I'm not going to. Trust me. There was a time. I don't know whether I'm wondering. Is there a time where I would like to? I mean, I want to definitely visit Greece and a few places, but I'm wondering would I ever want to live in Europe? Probably, definitely, considering the healthcare situation over there, without a doubt. So, let's see. For some reason, I'm not seeing the mesh. Oh, the material's gone. Ah, it doesn't have a texture at all. Okay, so we do only have a red. An emissive that's red. I would like a reddish emissive. Oh, but that's more yellow. Let's see emissive. We gotta have just emissive. Let's see. White, yellow, green. Bright red emissive. There we are, baby. Because if I went if I went to the furthest region, I mean, yeah, I could say California, but also, I mean, geez, I mean, we do have Hawaii, well, let's say you go, really, if you don't know how the United States wound up with Hawaii as one of our states, it's a crazy story. I mean, it's just, I mean, it's right up there. I mean, as far as colonialism goes, it's right up there with anything that the British Empire did. I mean, we just walked in and said, "Screw your king and queen. Screw the fact that I mean, literally, the royal palace in Hawaii had electricity before the White and indoor plumbing before the U.S. White House did." Blue, so we're on a blue emissive here. So we're gonna. But we just went in there and just it's just, heck, it just goes to show. I don't know. I don't know what it goes to show. Humans suck. I mean, sometimes when I'm looking, I mean, this is something that's sort of, I'm sorry. LOD is used to prevent lag. To answer your question, I'm sorry I went off on my ramble there, but let's see here. This is the yellow. We want to fix the yellow next. Oh, that's the red. I accidentally turned the. Hold on. I feel like a doom cop here, but yeah, that's essentially what its purpose is. Yeah, but we want bright yellow emissive. Yellow emissive, excellent. Yep. And this is another one of the cases where it saves everything. When you save it on that one, it saves all prefabs with that, so it's quick and easy, lemon squeezy. But yeah, it does save your memory, visual memory, and such, and does decrease lag. Let's see here. I don't like that bright blue emissive we're using there. Yeah, I mean, I visited the UK back, bluish emissive. Oh, there we go. That's what we want, baby. I visited the UK back in the 80s, and I didn't do it to the prefab, so it's got to be redone. Dang it. And that was, I think, the closing years of Thatcher, I regret to say I was young, I was stupid, and I spent all of my freaking time in downtown London. I just did. I was dumb. Of all the places I could have spent my time at. I know. I mean, having lived in New York City, I know. That's sort of like somebody going to New York City and going, "Oh yeah, I've been to the United States." And let me tell you, I know New York is sort of like the United States. It's sort of, but New York City, that is, because heck, let's see, bright red emissive. There we are. And I don't know. I could have seen it, but I did go to the British Museum, and saw all that fun stuff, neat stuff. Okay, so we fixed those. Let me see. I'm trying to ignore everything we see down here because I see a lot of textures down there that need to be converted. I'm trying to look at the main world up here and float around and see. Any magenta over here? But geez, that was so long ago now. 1988. That was 35 years ago. I mean, that was back during the Cold War. I mean, jeez, back then I think these guys are a special situation here. Let me see here. Universal. I'm gonna. Is this a prefab that I'm doing with? No, I'm just gonna see something really quick. I'm gonna convert this material to universal render pipeline, simple lit. Yeah, it's missing its textures. We're gonna have to take a look here. I could find them. This is sort of like just pedantic stuff because some trees and stuff you gotta just handhold it and fix it just one by one. And I'm looking for like just blatant, just obscure purple. But I'm liking that I'm seeing so little because I don't know whether blue. I mean, blue. You saw my last update last week. Literally, I mean, there was just so much magenta all over the place. And now I'm just seeing, oh, look here. Oh, I see some. There. I see you. Are they all like that? Oh, they're gone. Yeah, the mesh is missing and the material is missing all together. Ooh, PF fence. Let's see. PF fence. Ooh. Okay, I'm going to have to go back to our original project and cross-reference those and find out exactly where those are. But, okay. And these guys down here, there's a little bit of a problem. Like, these sort of issues. But, you know, again, I see so little magenta here overall. That really, I think I am pretty much prepared to continue with that. You know, the just step-by-step process of fixing up that terrain shader. I'm not going to answer the guy from Procedural Worlds. You know, there's a great series. This is the last thing I'll say. You know, because I said I was going to go feed the kitty cats, and I don't want to keep anybody up too late. But I don't know. You know, there was a great British series. I mean, we love your British comedy here in the United States. There was a great series called The Rise and Fall Original Parrot, and the boss there. I mean, it was just. I mean, literally catchphrase comedy. I mean, every time super. And what was the other guy? Super. And it's great. Super. Great. And CJ was like, I didn't get where I was today without talking about where I got. All right. To how I got to where I am today. But anyway, I remember a great phrase there. That's totally still in my mind. Oh yeah, about the guy from Procedural Worlds who's obviously upset that I've been able to like take data from CTS and bring it into to the other product. Yeah, CJ, the boss in the Rise and Fall original Perrin. He had, you know, oh my gosh, look at all these. Oh no, are these redundant colliders? All these freaking redundant colliders. These still. Oh god, look at this. Why does this have 18 colliders? That's stupid. Anyway, I'm more interested in its texture. I think what I did was I took care. Yeah. Oh my god. There's let's count these. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 redundant colliders attached to that object. And another 10 redundant colliders inside of it. That's 10, not 18 extra calls that this thing has to make. That's insanity. I thought I had fixed all of this stuff months ago, but apparently there's still artifacts. That's why I like to go through. I mean, really, any chance you have as a game dev to go through these things and make sure they're functioning as they should, don't shy away from that. You just have to. Just go, yep, yep. And let's see here. It doesn't look like the texture is appearing properly. I think just because the base map is fine and it's got simple lit, opaque render face, maybe both. That's just weird that we're not getting the. They are URP textures, straight up. But you know, as long as I'm seeing these freaking redundant colliders up here, my brain is just vibrating, going, "What the hell?" And how did this happen? Because I mean, jeez, I just want to bring up the colliders. We can't even see them. Where are these colliders? It's just stupid. Anyway, I think that's the last thing you're gonna see from me. But old CJ Boss in the Rise and Fall original Perrin, he had a great phrase, and it was let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, make them wait outside the door. 5, 6, 7, 8, always pays to make them wait, and that's my attitude toward the guys over at Procedural Worlds. Oops, hold on, what did I do there? Oh, I moved it up. So now I want to go into the Boiler House parent object and remove all of these as well. So it is what you got. It's just so stupid. How in the hell did this happen? I mean, I know I didn't put them there. I know I hired somebody to take care of like colliders for me, and boy, did he screw the pooch. So I'm blaming it on him. I mean, I sure as hell wouldn't have put 10 freaking redundant invisible colliders. And I know colliders are supposed to be invisible, but usually if you turn on your gizmos, you should be able to see them. These colliders, I don't know where the hell, sorry. And I'm wondering, I'm pretty sure all of these houses have the exact same problem. Let's take a look. Let's see. No, these guys don't. That's maybe why I missed it. It was just like one out of all of these was screwy with like literally dozens of extra. No, there were 2, but these have been removed too. So we go to the parent object. And because there were 18 on that one, 36 fewer calls. And considering it can handle, I think, 200 calls is optimal for a scene. We just literally removed, 10%. We brought it down 10% of the optimal number of polys. Ooh. Not polys, but calls. Because here, if you look closely at this house, now that I got everything selected, you see these very thin green lines here. Those are the colliders. They shouldn't have had all those colliders. I'm just going to select over here. I'm wondering, do these rocks all have like 50 freaking colliders attached to them? What the hell? Mesh collider? That's legit. I'm totally willing to go there with that. My God. Just every day, I mean, every time I go through this, I discover more stuff. Just artifact stuff that should not be here. Let's just see more, all these shaders that are all screwed up. I gotta figure this out. Does it have to be, let's see, universal render pipeline. What? There we go. Not simple lit, just lit. And then it looks fine, see? Or does it? Yes, some of the parts of it do. Yeah, we have to go through all of these and change these to universal render pipeline lit. Or do we? Because that shouldn't be that way. It shouldn't be dark. Hold on. Yeah, I know. I need to feed the kitty cats, but one of the things that I'm sort of concerned when the cat. It's been very hot, and as a result, the cats haven't been eating much lately. So I'm okay, but that's flat. That's not the way it should be. I'm just gonna turn that. Huh. Complex lit. Huh. No. Because let's just grab this and, I mean, that texture and change it to, I mean, complex lit and see what we get. Understand. I mean, yeah, you can just point at me and go, oh, the guy doesn't know what the heck he's doing. Well, to a certain extent, I've never worked with URP before. I've been working with standard for this entire time, so I don't know. I mean, guilty. Yeah, totally guilty. I don't know some of the stuff that I'm messing with here. Now, I changed that to complex lit, and it still looks fine. Let me see if I change it back to, like, universal render simple lit. It's if it just goes back to white. Yeah, it does. So okay, that's the way it is. Let's just try it over here on one of these guys. Lit. Yeah, that's not right. They're not supposed to be black. Let's go to complex lit. No. Huh. Hmm. Well, that's a mystery. We're going to have to dig into this a little bit better. I mean, I mean, the textures look more or less okay, just a little bit off. Again. Oh, and before I go, I'm just gonna, for anybody who's still watching, yeah, Laura's working on. She's added more quests. Basically, every NPC character within the game now, or NPCs now, has a quest attached to them. So and there's other stuff that's going on. Lance right now is trying to integrate our book. I'm sorry, itchy. Yes, I'm itching my nose, not picking my nose. I'm itching it. There you go. Um, yeah, Lance, he's looking into a few things that for example, we wanted so that when a cat approaches a book that's open on a counter, the camera will go in and the cat can flip. The player can actually read the book, and because really, we want a lot of books in the game. We want one last thing I'm going to fix before I want to hear because I see it's right in front of me and I just can't. Before I go feed my kitty cats because they're hungry boys and girls, and they're good boys and girls, and they need to be fed all day. Let's see. We want this changed to transparent. Oh goodness. Okay, you got me. Jeez, you're still there. I'll prepare their food while I answer your question. I'll be right back. Hold. Actually, you're gonna have to forgive me, because I have to clean off a kitty dish. We only have two, and of course, every kitty gets their own dish. I'll be right back in a moment. I just have to scrub a couple of plates clean. Hey, we're getting back into the neighborhood at the Clean Plate Club. For during the hottest times, I mean, seriously, the cats are like, nah, not eating. Oh, uh-oh. Sounds like something happened. Sounds like Unity crashed and crash it. Yeah, it looks like we got a Unity crash error. That's fine. We change those textures, and what I want to do now is I just want to reconcile and bring. Yeah, we have a looks like we have a Unity crash. Yeah, that's what it is. Okay, so anyway, what I'm going to do really quick is I'm going to reconcile because after I'm done streaming, after I fix these kitties dinner, what I want to do is we brought on a guy who's helping us out with the one of the reasons that it is unsteady is a heck of a lot of textures have not been properly optimized, and somebody has to go through literally the tens of thousands of textures that are in there. I'd say thousands, not tens of thousands. And just make sure that they are all properly, put through the compression. By the way, we feed our kitty cats, let me see, eat twice a day. Well, they get kibbles because, yeah, I don't know. When I first got cats, I fed my cats just, they had a bowl of kibbles they could go to at any time they wanted. But I was very fortunate in that my first cats, they never had any really serious problems with weight. They were always just, self-regulating. Got to get a knife. But anyway, as I was saying, twice a day we give them they share a can of fancy feast. It's this, let me see, it's small cans, but we mix a little bit of basically dehydrated chicken powder into it, because, cats, the more protein, the better. And man, I did not know I was feeding my cats just insanely high carb diet. If you're not aware, their fancy feast. I don't know if they got it over in Britain, but they sell a type that's like gravy lovers or whatever, where it's got a lot of those gravy ones are the highest in carbs, which is odd because you'd think they'd be, I don't know, you don't think that liquids would be very high in carbs, and I guess that's what they just must fill that the gravy with just tons and tons of starches and such to make it feel filling or something. But anyway, all right, there's our kitty cats, and I don't know why I did this one, but Laura and we split the duty. She does if one of us does it in the morning, typically the other does it, on the other time in that day. So anyway. So the story. Yeah, I was going to answer that question instead of talking about cat food preparation. Um, um, yes. Uh, if you're talking about every tiny aspect of the story, as in every quest, no. I will say that we have not planned out every dang quest because level design understand we know where the story's going, but integrating that into a level and into the puzzle box of the island as a whole are two different things. So let's see here. You know what? I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to beg a little bit off because I need to go get my beverage again before I can answer your question. Sorry, I'll be right back. Thank you. All right, let's rewind that entire conversation about the stories. All right, because I think I misstated something. It was like saying there were separate things or different. Anyway, um, Well, yeah, we know how the story, the three act structure of the story. We know precisely what what all the NPC player, NPC. Because in writing, jeez, if anybody knows it, writing video games is sort of like writing a book in that all the NPCs, all the characters have to have something that they want. They have to have their own motivation and something they want to do. We have pretty much all of that figured out. Um, However, we do not have every conversation written, and we do not have every level planned out. And but we have, geez, if you went to our wiki, I keep on trying to show it without giving away spoilers that necessitate me removing the video. But if you go to if you go to our wiki, I mean, every person on the island, we have like an entire story arc for them and everything that you encounter. There's been a heck of a lot of thought put into the backstory and every character, every human being in that was on Peace Island before they disappeared had their own story, their own motivation, and their own thing. I mean, I have to go back and I again don't make this don't don't take this as Eric, a game developer talking bad about another game developer. I have nothing but respect for the people who made Stray. Um, but I think that their depiction, I mean, because here, the robots in Stray were a stand in for basically, oh, look, the new robot civilization is making the same mistakes as the old human civilization. So that was a very clear parable right there. And their parable was, oh my goodness, the robots have created it up like this, you know, an oligarchical, top-down society where the people up above live very well and the people at the bottom live really crap, etc., etc. And yes, that is an important story to tell. I mean, the story of class division and the consequences thereof, and and why that's a bad thing. But can I say, I think that if human beings were left behind, I mean, and by the way, we have nothing to do with that. I'm sorry. If human beings disappeared and cats were left behind, uh, and animals were left behind, and some species came along and viewed the stuff that we left, as artifacts, I think we would leave. I mean, yeah, generally they would go, yes, yeah, they were like many other species. They were after number one. They wanted to keep themselves fed, and there was an agent of greed in there. But I don't think that by their portrayal of the human race's legacy being just one about greed and class division, they are selling the human race short. Because in Peace Island, I mean, not even let's take Peace Island out of this situation. I mean, I don't think that the human race, I mean, a heck of a lot of us are, but we are not all exclusively driven by, avarice, greed, and the need to acquire. I think that, uh, I mean, for example, people who literally just, dang it. Be right back. Sorry, I want to get something. I mean, there are people who literally sign up for the Marine Corps when they are 18 and they sign up for the toughest missions and they are like, yes, I want to be the first one on the battlefield. Screw fear, God and country, let's go. That is a person not motivated by greed. That, I mean, or personal gain. I don't think I can even understand that kind of mindset. But again, I think I mean, that's only one example. I think that people, if you go through, when you learn about the humans that used to live on Peace Island before they disappeared, you'll find that some of them were motivated by love, some by jealousy, some indeed by greed, some of them for so many other reasons. I don't think that Peace Island to a great extent is again about the cats, their experience and such, but it's also about the human race, and I mean how we would be interpreted by, again, cats come into the great majority of the cats in the game come in biased because of course they lived around humans. But uh, I'm sorry, I sort of went off on a tangent there as far as like explaining things. But yeah, we have a great deal of the story. But can I just tell you, sometimes when Laura and I are watching the news, and I mean, when we realize, literally, since before I was born, we've known that climate change is real and it's going to be impacting us really badly, and we're seeing it happen right now, and we're seeing just like the country's going to war and people going, and honest to goodness, we're creating a narrative where the cats come out of that, come through the story going, yeah, humans, great, let's bring them back. That's going to be a little bit of a difficult thing because I don't know. There are times where I don't know. There's a great thing, line by Kurt Vonnegut. He wrote Slaughterhouse Five and a lot of really other great books. But he said, it's apparent that people we don't like it here that much. And when he said that we don't like it here, he meant like being here on Earth. I mean, all we do is fight with each other. We treat the ocean like a toilet. We treat the land like a landfill. We're all about producing more and more plastic. And honest to goodness, this was not a case. Basically every human on Earth eats one of these every week in plastic because the microplastics that are in our environment now. And it's just going to be a hard. It's going to be a hard bit of story, have through to be able to give the player that option. But understand that we Laura and I are fully cognizant there are huge gaps in the story at this point. And we do want to work with other writers to finalize it. But understand, here's the problem with hiring a writer is that right now we are so important. We are so focused on getting the back end working, the technical part working, that we really can't afford to bring on, a writer. A lot of game developers, a hell of a lot of game publishers don't give a crap about game writing. They're like, oh, the guy's trying to get the princess. That's enough. Well, what about like motivation and themes, and don't you, oh no, the writing isn't that like making words and like scribbly lines on paper. No, we I mean, when you look, I mean, the Outer Wilds, a very clever game, kind of a clever concept behind, but apparently you could, when you play the game, you could tell they only had one person doing the writing because that's a game that had absolutely no conclusion whatsoever to its story. I mean, in another game, I mean, for example, I mean, I hate to be critical, but I mean, Firewatch. There are a lot of really great aspects to the game. But understand, throughout the entire game, if you've not played it, and I hate to spoil it, spoilers ahead, warning. Firewatch is all about, to a great extent, is about your relationship with somebody that you only communicate with on the radio. And the denouement of the story, you finally are supposed to meet this person, and no, they're gone. They're gone, and that's it. The credits roll. That's it. And that is such a letdown, considering all of the emotional stuff that all the emotional points that are touched on in that story. Just having it end with this guy not meeting this person, and there not being a conclusive answer. And now you got me rambling, Blue. I'm very sorry. I know. Hello, Hispano. One of the worst things, I think, in both movies and games, you gotta have a definitive ending. You can't leave people hanging. Yes, in some cases, you can do, this thing where it's like, oh, the story is up to you and such, or this means what you want it to mean. But honest to God, I will criticize the people who made the Outer Wilds, because when I couldn't play the Outer Wilds because I get bad motion sickness, and I watched this like 2 hour recap. This guy, he does a speed cap recap playthrough of the game, and when I found out that after everything that you do through all of those cycles, through everything, It just plops you in the middle of the woods with random characters throughout the game playing bluegrass music in the middle of the woods. That's not an ending. And and whenever a writer, whenever anybody produces something like that to you, and goes, "Oh, you don't understand. The process was the story, and the ending is all. Oh, if you don't get an ending out of it, that's all on you, guy." No, that is passive aggressive gaslighting. That person didn't care about the story. They didn't know how to write, didn't care. And in the end, they're just like, oh yeah, rather than just admitting it, they're like, oh no, 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 you don't understand, you just don't get it. You understand. Um, if you had played it and really paid attention, that would have made a lot of sense. Trust me, those guys playing bluegrass in the woods in the middle, man. But no, I've talked to the people who've gone through the Outer Wilds, and at the end they say, "Oh yeah, but well, yeah, we see it as just sort of like touching base with characters that we met throughout the game." Now I'm spitting in my anger. No, no, no. At the end of Peace Island, trust me, your cats are not going to end up in the middle of the woods with people playing bluegrass. No, they're going to be definitive, conclusive endings. And if you, I mean, all of the stories of the people that are told in the game, you don't have to read all of those. One of the things I really like about the Elden Ring, no, not Elden Ring, yeah, the Elden Ring, is that the critical path of that game only required about one third the rest of all the quests and information that's within the game. But if you wanted to, you could explore a heck of a lot more. And that's the thing. We don't expect everybody to read every book, every note, and listen to every voice message, go to everything, and understand the story of every one of the 38 people on the island. But if they want to, trust me, there's going to be we're not going to just leave you hanging. Because I'm any chance to grant about the Outer Wilds, I will take, because again, and the reason, can I say, that ending is so insulting to the players is because, to be fair, the Outer Wilds had a really neat concept and a lot of really neat mechanics and stuff. It was very, considering it was low poly all the way through, it had a really nice visual style that was very good. And I just think that they cheated. Anybody that went through all of that, I mean, I would have been expecting, man, there's going to be something really great at the end. And I'm confronted with like a few people playing bluegrass. I would have been really upset. So, anyway, that was my rant about the Outer Wilds, my mandatory rant. But again, I will give those guys credit. Cool idea, cool execution, and I really do like. I mean, they presented you with an open world, that was unlike many that are ever presented. That like persistent clockwork, whatever it is, solar system. Yeah. I mean, I don't know whether you were one of those, but I noticed that one of the first things when you woke up, that probe out there, that station there fired a probe, and I just remember, where did that go? Where did it go? And I remember so many times trying to catch up with it. There was no, definitive solution that happened. Of course, the universe reset itself after 22 minutes, but still, it was like, yeah, kind of interesting to catch up with that. And yeah, the probe, it was always fired off in a random direction in each iteration of the time for a time thing, I think. Yeah. But in the end, I mean, you got to give it somebody who's gone through all the stuff that game demanded and all the revelations that it demanded. Because really, it had sort of good writing up to a certain point. Because as you discovered things and as you advance, you did pick up on the story of the race that had died out. I forget their name, the precursor race and everything. But again, in the end, I just felt that they just gave up and said, okay, the game's done. Oh, okay, they find them, and then once they get the thing that causes everything to reset. Yeah, they reappear in the middle of a forest, and there are people playing bluegrass. That's it. And bless And if anybody tells you, by the way, that those guys made the game with like a team of 19 people on a budget of 100,000 or something like that, that's also a total lie. If you go and you look it up, they had a staff that, if you include everybody that worked on the game, including marketing and such, there were a staff of close to 91 people, and their budget it still remains a mystery because there was a guy on Heroes who literally said, "I like the concept so much. Tell me how much money you need, guys." And the minimum amount that I believe has been quoted that guy gave them was $10 million. And so if I had $10 million, oh my goodness, the things I could do. I just have to put that out there, because there is this. There are so many just weird urban legends about game development. But it looks like it's gonna. I'm just rambling while it goes through this reconcile. It's having to go through the entire, server catalog. Our server is like literally 6 feet in that direction, maybe 10. And when it's done, I'm just gonna, submit all of my work. And I think after that, like I said, I have to have a discussion with this guy, get him on the path toward, optimizing textures so that the new next builds are much more efficient and quick. So thanks to those who did tune in. I don't know how many we do have tuning in, probably about 2 at maximum. But I'll probably be back in a couple of days. I need to go back onto Twitch. Probably tomorrow I'm going to try streaming on Twitch again. But again, our number one fan over there, Transarctic, they're, I'm wondering if they're still on vacation because, again, they live in Europe and they can go, blah, 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 blah. All the employers are there in Europe. Like, oh yeah, 6 weeks paid vacation. Here you go. Damn it. USA, 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 baby. So anyway, I'm going to say goodnight. Thanks for everybody tuned in. Talk to you later. Sorry for all my rambling and incoherence, but I'm pretty sure that anybody who tunes in on a regular basis is pretty much used to that by now. Take care. Bye-bye.